good people, my name is Kayleen. If you're new to my channel, you're welcome. I'm really grateful that you are here. This is one of my the thought of being a Christian teen or a Christian young adult, whatever. Like, there's always this standard that you've been given by people, both Christians and non-Christian. I was chilling with like Christians and I felt like I'm a whole nun compared to them. And then sometimes I would sit with like some other Christians and I would feel like, yo, like I am the sinfulest of them all. Even in the world, the times, and now this is a story time, it is a day I was talking to someone and this has not happened once. I'm seated with this person and like they're talking, I know they're not Christian, but they know I'm Christian, they know my stand, they know what I stand for. In the midst of them like talking, they swear. So me, I'm like, okay, because I already know they're not Christian, like it doesn't take me off guard. Like it's just like, okay, you know, like, because in my head I'm like, whatever walk they're in, they seriously do not see swearing as a problem. But now the problem comes here when they swear and then they look at me and they're like, oh my god, I'm so sorry, I forgot that I'm not supposed to swear in front of a Christian. And so it takes you back. So for me, what used to happen a lot, I would find myself explaining like, it's okay, like, you know, I'm not like other Christians, you know, which is not true. I don't swear and I don't believe that if when you have this Holy Spirit in you, he works in you in a way that like you know what is right and what is wrong. And for sure, even like every time I even listen to something that like swears and stuff, like there's just something, it's not even for what people think. I just know the Holy Spirit is not okay with me doing it. And they do that, I start saying, oh, it's okay, you know, blah blah blah, and I start explaining myself. Today is where I sat down, I was like, wait up. There are times where, like, for example, you will be sitting with just a group and maybe they're worldly, like they're not Christian or anything like that, or they're Christians but they don't live it, and they start talking about like relationships, or they start talking about dirty jokes and stuff like that, and then they look at you and be like, oh, like I didn't know like a Christian girl could be seated here as we listen to this. And so you're put in a corner of trying to explain yourself, being the odd one out. And this is not like, this is a totally different from when somebody comes to you and tells you, hey, you're a nun, you're too much. It's not as direct as that, but there's small tiny instances that make you feel that maybe you're doing this too much. Maybe you read the Bible too much. Maybe you follow the word too much, you know. And I'm gonna be honest, like I found myself in that same position, because most of the time, and I think this is so important, whose advice you listen to or who you're watching, friend, because at the end of the day, wherever you're getting your advice from, whoever your ears are listening or watching, automatically you'll start questioning yourself on where you stand according to that being the basis. What do you do in such circumstances where you find yourself surrounded by worldly people or even Christians? Like maybe you have these beliefs that you've been walking by, you have decided like, I'm not gonna swear, I'm not gonna do all these things, and then you meet with this Christian who's doing all these things, and so they start asking, like, kind of like it's like what's passive, like they passively tell you, they don't tell you like exactly that, but they passively tell you, the thing you're doing is a bit too much. Friend, that's the part where you need to know that you should not let the world dictate where your Christendom is going or how your walk with Jesus is going. The fact Jesus says, I only do what my Father does, and I'm very sure he was saying that because of us. He was trying to show us the way how to really live this life. Like, we only do what the Father does. So if you read the Bible and you saw and you got convicted that you shouldn't be swearing, and this guy comes and swears and it kind of makes it look like you're the problem, remember that it is not them as the baseline. God, Jesus is the baseline. So go back to your thoughts, get yourself together, and remember you're doing this for Jesus and you're only following what Jesus did. And if in the Bible you never saw Jesus swearing, then friend. There's your answer. There's so many things that the Holy Spirit will start convicting you of and has already convicted you of. And everyone is in a different type of walk. And maybe you will find some people doing things that you are convicted of and you're completely living free of, but they are still in that walk. It is up to you to follow Jesus. Do not look at other Christians. And I think that's what I wish somebody would have told me way earlier, because I would always find myself like comparing myself to other people, and every time I would compare myself to other people, I would feel super self-righteous. I would feel like I'm very deep into it. I do Bible study too hard. I do all these things, and so I would find myself like, instead of going ahead in my journey, I'd always go like steps back, trying to fit in with the other Christians that I am around with. Yet at the same time, if I found other Christians that are way ahead of me, reading the Bible like every single hour, and then they know the scriptures off head, I'd always feel like I am lowly, I'm not worthy. And to be honest, even with my YouTube channel, sometimes I'm doing it, and then I go to my Instagram and I see how everyone else is living their lives. Not everyone else, like some people are living their lives, and then I'll shrink down and be like, okay, maybe I'm doing this Jesus thing too much. Maybe I'm representing him too much. Then sometimes I'll go to other people's Instagram, whatever. I'll be like, wait, maybe I'm not speaking the word too much. Maybe I'm not representing too much. That at the end of the day, every single time I go back to the word, Jesus shows me my journey and why I'm with him. And I never feel with Jesus that, okay, I'm doing this too much. Like, he will speak to me gently. That's how I know it's his voice. So what I'm saying exactly is that it's your journey with Jesus, and you should be reading the Bible however much you can. If you look at another Christian and you're like, oh, maybe I'm being too much, maybe I am being like, I'm almost a nun at this point, go back to the word and see if in Jesus, in the Jesus thing, you're being too much. Because they can never be too much. Like, really, like, honestly, it all depends on your motives, and if your motives are purely to please God, when you read the word, like, it will show you where you are. And I go to the Instagram and the world is at my feet, and I'm seeing all the friends and the types of friends I used to have. I shrink down and I'm like, okay, maybe, just maybe, I'm doing this thing too much. Do not base your basis off any human being. Do what the Father does. And that doesn't mean that you shouldn't find a Christian family, but that doesn't mean that when you do find a Christian family that you should make them your journey. That's it for today. Alright, that's all I have for today. That's what I have for today. See you in the next video. Bye. Oh, and also I need to find a way to do my intros and outros. I gotta be unique, guys. Gotta be unique. Okay, bye.